Aging is the one truth no crown, no wealth, no fame has ever escaped. From the moment we are born, time begins its silent work on our bodies, carving lines, slowing strength, and quietly reminding us that nothing lasts forever. We fight it with creams, surgeries, and supplements, yet deep inside, we know aging always wins. It steals youth without asking, changes faces we once recognized, and turns yesterday's energy into today's exhaustion. It is a bitter reality, and no one truly likes it, because aging feels like losing pieces of ourselves little by little. But imagine a moment when science breaks this ancient rule. What if laboratories didn't just slow aging but reversed it completely? What if wrinkles faded not through illusion but through cellular rebirth, and weakened muscles remembered their former power? In this world, age would no longer be a countdown but a condition that could be rewritten. The idea sounds impossible today, yet so once did flying, instant communication, and replacing human organs with machines. Scientists already whisper about aging not as destiny, but as damage. Telomeres shorten, cells forget how to repair themselves, and inflammation quietly spreads like rust. Now imagine a breakthrough where every damaged instruction inside our cells could be corrected, where the body remembers its youngest blueprint and follows it again. Aging would no longer be a slow decline but a reversible mistake, corrected at the molecular level. If aging could be reversed, time itself would lose its grip on the human face. Mirrors would no longer remind people of years past, but of possibilities regained. Elderly hands would grow steady again, backs would straighten, and tired eyes would shine with clarity. Hospitals would empty of age-related suffering, and old age would no longer mean pain, dependency, or fear. Yet the impact would stretch far beyond physical beauty. Minds dulled by time would sharpen once more, memories once buried would resurface, and creativity would bloom again in people thought to be past their prime. Imagine poets writing with the wisdom of age and the energy of youth, scientists thinking with decades of experience yet brains as quick as their first discoveries. Families would be transformed in ways never seen before. Grandparents could run alongside their grandchildren, sharing not just stories of the past but adventures of the present. Generations would no longer be divided by physical limits. Love would feel different too, freed from the fear of watching partners fade away year by year. But such power would raise uncomfortable questions. If people no longer aged, how would society redefine time, careers, and purpose? Would retirement disappear? Would people study for centuries, master countless skills, or feel lost without an ending? Life's urgency, born from its limits, might slowly fade, forcing humanity to rediscover meaning beyond mortality. There would also be the question of access. Would reversing aging be a gift for all or a privilege for the powerful? If only the wealthy could afford eternal youth, the gap between rich and poor would become more than economic, it would become biological. Society would be forced to confront fairness on a scale never imagined before. Nature itself would feel the shock. If death no longer arrived through age, population would grow in unprecedented ways. Cities would stretch, resources would strain, and humanity would have to rethink how it lives on this planet. Science might conquer aging only to awaken new challenges that demand wisdom equal to its intelligence. Emotionally, humans would change too. Knowing that time could be reversed might reduce fear, but it could also increase hesitation. People might delay dreams endlessly, thinking there is always more time. The pressure that pushes us to love deeply, act bravely, and forgive quickly might slowly weaken. Still, hope would shine brighter than fear. Reversing aging would mean freedom from diseases like Alzheimer's, arthritis, and heart failure. It would mean fewer goodbyes whispered in hospital rooms and fewer lives defined by slow suffering. Humanity would finally fight not just death, but the pain that leads to it. Philosophers would question whether aging was ever meant to be permanent. Was it a law of nature, or simply a puzzle waiting to be solved? If science could reverse aging, it would prove that even the most ancient truth.
In such a world, youth would no longer be wasted on the young, and wisdom would no longer be trapped in fragile bodies. Humans could become living libraries of experience, evolving not by replacement but by renewal. Life would feel less like a race and more like a long, meaningful journey. Perhaps the greatest change would happen inside the human heart. When aging loses its power, fear of time would fade, and people might finally live not to outrun death, but to deepen life. Science reversing aging would not just rewrite biology, it would redefine what it means to be human. Yet even with aging reversed, humanity would face a quiet emotional paradox. When faces stop changing and bodies stop breaking down, the inner sense of time may feel blurred. Birthdays might lose their weight, calendars their authority. People would need new ways to mark growth, not by years lived, but by wisdom gained, kindness shared, and impact created. Relationships would also evolve in unexpected ways. If lovers could remain young forever, commitment would become a deeper promise than ever before. Staying with one soul for centuries would require emotional maturity far beyond today's standards. Love would no longer be tested by time, but by truth, patience, and the willingness to grow together endlessly. Art, culture, and storytelling would transform dramatically. Artists would no longer rush to leave a legacy before age silences them. Music could mature over lifetimes, paintings could reflect centuries of evolving thought, and stories would carry the weight of first-hand history instead of distant memory. Human expression would deepen, shaped by lives lived in full awareness. Fear itself would change its shape. Death would not vanish, but it would step back, no longer looming as the constant shadow behind every decision. People might become braver, taking risks not because time is short, but because life is precious even when it is long. Courage would come from purpose, not urgency. Science, having conquered aging, would face its own reflection. The question would no longer be what can we do, but what should we do? Reversing aging would demand a new moral compass, guiding humanity to use its power with restraint, empathy, and responsibility. Progress without wisdom would be the greatest danger of all. In the end, the reversal of aging would not grant immortality of the soul, but clarity of choice. Humanity would finally stand face to face with itself, free from the excuse of limited time. And in that freedom, people would discover that the true secret of youth was never in the body, but in the courage to live fully.